Yeah, when we started sitting down and getting creative with our budget this year, you know, I'm from the Northeast, and I was there during Hurricane Sandy last year. I actually couldn't go to SEMA for 2 days because it was really rough. And we had the idea that it would make a lot of sense for us to pick up one of the flood cars, a Sandy flood car. At the same time, it's a cool opportunity for us to sort of take a car that was, you know, beat up by this awful storm and give it a new life out here on the track. We have a small fabrication shop back home, and we did everything in-house. Brought in one of the guys that we know that Turks worked with years ago, and one guy in-house, and we cranked it all out. It was more or less 3 dudes working full-time on the car for about 2 months from getting it as a bone stock car and then having it ready to drive. Yeah, I mean, I like the kit a lot. You know, it's super aggressive and it's sick, but what's nice about the Rocket Bunny stuff is that it's both really aggressive but also really maintains the lines of the car. So I like that, and then we don't love the GT wing. I just don't want to rip it off all the time. So we did a little ducktail last event, and then we're going to make a more substantial one for next year. We're going to just fabricate one. I guess the biggest change in my car, obviously beyond, you know, doing what we thought was a really clean and simple cage and chassis bracing kind of setup, just getting the chassis prepared, is that I have an inline 4-cylinder, the 2AZ out of the TC. The long block itself is what we ran on the TC, as far as, you know, cams and pistons and crank and stuff. And then turbo's different, the manifolds we made custom to fit in the car better and to sort of improve on the design in the TC. It's definitely one of the best 4-cylinders out there, by far. And I'd say it's not exactly where we want it to be just yet. We added nitrous to the car about mid-season. That was a huge step in the right direction. It's really powerful. It adds a lot of low-end power, and it helps with what's become such a big thing this year, which is, you know, getting the car out of the hole and making sure you're with the guy you're chasing. It helps with all that. But I think there's a couple things we can do to make it a little bit better. We'll probably put a bigger turbo on it next year. Sort of like what Oz is doing, is just use the nitrous to spool the turbo. So I'd say it's really competitive. It's mind-blowing for a 4-cylinder, and you know, the kind of power it makes. It's just about as much as the V8s. Most of the V8s, like especially NA guys like Forsberg or JR, stuff like that. It's just, we want to get it to be a little bit more usable.